They were live. But Kasi is a regular problem with the air quality.
Right, 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 right.
So we're all good. Hiral, how's it going for everything?
It's going fine. HB1C got a bit higher this time. That let's see, we'll manage it.
Nice.
How
Wait
about
for the
you?
comments. I'm great, living it up as always, being
But
the best version I can of myself.
but your look has changed so much since we met last.
In a good way or a bad way?
In a kind of good way, you can say. थोड़ा bad way में भी मतलब आप अंकल क्यों बन रहे हो भैया ही रहो.
ठीक है. I'll take your word for it. What about you, Shoeb? How are things going at your
Yeah,
end?
all things are going well, and now the focus is only on health and more and more on health only. Earlier things were very different, but now it's only on health.
Hi, Mandar. Nice to have you.
Hi, Mandar, how are you?
We'll have people coming in. Just wait till they keep joining. So everything is
Right.
still as it is going. So, Hiral, how come in college today on a Sunday?
There was this exam for Air Force, so
Okay.
we need to keep a few checks like the exam goes fine and everything.
My gosh. So, a volunteer and our future going to be doctor. Very nice. Very proud of you.
Thank you.
So where you based,
Like
Hiral?
Mumbai.
Mumbai. Which college?
I'm not yet studying in college. It's just that I volunteered here, so I'm right now here. I'm studying online, preparing for NEET. Then
Oh,
let's see where
lovely.
way goes.
Oh, I'm sure it will go well. Congratulations.
Hopefully. Thank you.
Okay, it's been about 3 minutes, so I guess we'll start. Whoever is here should be in by now. Hi, everyone. Good evening. Welcome to the Blue Circle workshop that we conduct every Sunday. Today's topic is Beyond Labels, where we are uniting T1s and T2s. We do these workshops every Sunday at 5 p.m. without fail. One of our panelists was unable to join us, but the three of us will still continue and hoping to share some knowledge, experience about things that we've gone through in our respective lives, being type 1s and type 2s. But we want to push aside these labels today, where we focus on diabetes as the whole and things that make us common, keep us together. So I'm Gilmerio. I've been a T1 since the time I was 10. Currently, it's been 28 years and counting. I'm currently on insulin pump therapy. I use Novorapid. I have minimal exercise, which I should be doing a lot more of. I know, I'm aware. And something else that I share is I'm actually trying out low carb diet as best as I can. I do get carried away sometimes, miscalculating and keeping those things. But as we all are, at the end of the day, we're all human. That's how it works for us. And I'm trying my best to be better, a better version of myself every day. So,
Oh,
and I'm a
wonderful.
type 1, yeah. So, Soil, maybe you can go ahead yourself.
Hi, good evening. Happy Sunday, everyone. My name is Shoeb Sheikh. By profession, I am a chef. I run a cloud kitchen from my residence, and I am a type 2 diabetic since 2016. I was overseas, and it has been a journey of more than 8 years now. And now I'm getting a hang of it. Earlier, things were very different. I couldn't understand what's happening. Now I really understand what it is, and I'm living that lifestyle now. And I'm on Janumed, regular medicines, Janumed, Dimacron, and certain medicines which are prescribed by my doctor. Apart from that, I'm into a healthy workout schedule. I try to do maximum workout possible, compared to earlier when I used to never do workout. So I think that is really helping me out in coping diabetes and having a healthy lifestyle. That's about me in short.
Very nice, Shoeb. I'm excited to know about your cloud kitchen. What do you have on the menu?
You will love it if I tell you.
Of course, I don't know. I think Hiral is having some technical difficulties, but she should over there. I think she's
I think
back.
she's back here.
Hi, Hiral. You're on mute. Yeah, you can just tell us about yourself and a quick introduction.
Sure. Hello everyone. I'm Hiral and I'm cycling since I was 12 and I completed my sixth diversity on 14th of November. That is for Diabetes Day as well as Children's Day. So yeah, better speak moment. Also, I'm trying to pursue MBBS. So I'm right now preparing for NEET and will give exam in May. Let's hope for the best.
Perfect. So, how is the preparations for NET working at this point?
Preparations are going well. Sometimes it's like hectic. Okay. When it's like when HbA1c is fine, studies is also fine, everything is fine. But once a thing gets off from the track, everything is off track. Like एक time पे it's not like सब कुछ तो सही हो और कुछ गलत हो. It's not like that. If something is fine, everything is fine. एक चीज goes wrong, and then it's like ये भी गलत. Marks gets lowered, then the HbA1c goes high, and it's like high, low. Yeah, let's
Everything
keep
goes
going.
along like that. So we have some questions coming in also. We'll get to you, Babu, in a while for how to gain weight and things. Personally, I don't have any problems with gaining weight being a diabetic, and I think Shoaib can also adhere to that. That it's easy for us. I think insulin itself, anyway, ends up making you converting your glucose into fat. So it does become easy if it's not controlled onto that. But we can touch base on that topic in a while. So we'll start with the most important thing. What we're trying to do is breaking the stereotypes that we face between type 1 and type 2, how people react, how does your community and your family react to actually being diabetic, what their reactions are to the entire scenario, and what that feels like when you're talking to your peers or colleagues or other students that you're with. So maybe we'll take your opinion on this, Hiral, for starters, as a T1.
Yeah, so as a T1, the first thing is that most people know about type 2 diabetes, which is commonly seen in the elderly people, or many, like, which is commonly seen. Like, people know some or other relative which has type 2, and then it's like it's the same or not, and everything. And especially everyone is very shocked or surprised to know that a college going student or a school going child has type 1 or type 2, or in common case diabetes, because it's like an elderly person thing to have. And then they are like, you're so slim and fit, you don't seem like diabetic. So yeah, there are many stereotypes, not only for type 1s, but also type 2s. That type 2, a person having type 2 should be obese, or should be elderly, or should be eating, might be eating much more sugar than it is preferred to. Yeah, there are many, many stereotypes.
Yeah, I think food is a big topic. Suddenly people come at least to T1s, me being a T1 myself. Oh, you should just stop eating sugar. Oh, you should just stop eating this. And if I go to tell them that, you know what, I'm not eating any of these things. I'm still diabetic and it's not going to change. So people tend to get confused between the two. So maybe Shoaib, you can tell us about your experiences and how people react to these things or peers, ideally.
Sure. For me, diabetes was a very new thing when I was 35, precisely the age when I got diagnosed. I was overseas and diabetes suddenly shot up, say around 500, 550. I used to get. frequent urination, almost 7 to 8 times a night. And I used to always wonder what is happening, क्या हो रहा है, क्या हो रहा है, ऐसा ये वो सब. Then later on, I was asked to have a checkup, and then I realized that I'm diabetic. So since then, I've been doing this. And still today, when I tell people that I am diabetic, they are like they don't believe that a person at a young age, 40, 45, can have diabetes. Also, for me, when I used to always believe diabetes can happen only for a person who is above 60. It's always about uncle को डायबिटीज है, आंटी को डायबिटीज है, या ऐसे ही है. तो हमने कभी सुना ही नहीं था कि छोटे बच्चों को, 20 साल की उम्र के बच्चों को, 30 साल की उम्र के बच्चे, बच्चे तो नहीं बोल सकता हूँ मैं, लेकिन 30 साल के लोगों को भी डायबिटीज हो सकता है. सो दैट्स व्हेन आई रियलाइज दैट डायबिटीज इज नॉट just pertaining to a particular age, that is maybe above 50. It can happen to anyone, and
Indeed.
anyone basically. And what I've realized after joining this club, I never knew what is a type 1. I never knew what is type 2. I only knew a word that diabetes है, sugar है, डायबिटीज की गोली खाना है, और शुगर को कंट्रोल करना. दीज आर द 4 or 5 थिंग्स विच आई वो घोड़े के ना ये रहता है ना जैसा. तो
Correct.
सिमिलरली मुझे भी सिर्फ यही मालूम था कि ओनली डायबिटीज है, डायबिटीज के लिए ये करो, पसीना बहाओ, एक्सरसाइज करो. तो यही चीज मुझे मालूम था और वही चीज करने का था. Again, I think I need to thank Blue Circle. It's not because the Blue Circle is of someone, but it has given so much of information and about what is actually happening. And a lot of people whom I met during this particular events which happened to Blue Circle, I understand. अरे ये भी हो सकता है, अरे ये भी हो सकता है. So that's how you learn, and you honestly feel that अरे भाई ये जब आपको जानकारी है तो why not share it with some other people. So this has really helped me, and I think now I'm getting an hang of what actually diabetes is, and उस हिसाब से हम अपने आप को ले जा रहे हैं आगे. So that's about me, or this is my perspective about what I have about diabetes.
Nice. Interesting. I mean, some of the points that you mentioned with regards to people saying, control your food, control your exercise, control these
हाँ
things.
हाँ.
I mean, while it is true, it needs to be followed because food, the kind of food that you're eating, what you're exactly doing, does make a really, really big difference. The kind of,
Absolutely.
uh, you know, I think you being in your cloud kitchen environment and what you're actually doing as part of your business, uh, you do understand these kind of factors that completely affect this. And these are things
Right.
that, a slight walk, maybe just a 30 minutes walk every day, does make a
Right.
real big difference to your health, to your environment, to how you are feeling about yourself. It helps boost your own confidence too. At least that's my
Absolutely.
experience of what I feel. Because when I was diagnosed, I was really young at that point in time. I was 10 years old. And everybody I reached out to, in terms of peer, a friend, family member, none of them were diabetic. And this is something I'm very grateful to Blue Circle Diabetes Foundation as well, which we all are. We are like a community that is, it uses the entire the Julius Caesar version of it, for the people, by the people, of the people. So we are for diabetics, by diabetics, and of diabetics, sharing our knowledge, sharing our experiences, sharing things that we actually discuss, that we know, that we've experienced, so that we can make things better for someone else. And
Absolutely. Absolutely. I
personally,
totally agree to this.
yeah, so personally, I always feel that, being part of this group has been something that's really beneficial to me. And I'm sure it is beneficial to everyone else included, because it does make a big difference to be part of something bigger than yourself, to be part and present somewhere. It does matter a lot.
I guess someone has posted a question about anxiety and type 2 diabetes. Like, how do they relate to each other? So, yeah, any other thing, anxiety affects not only sugars but many more things. And also, when you are type 2 or a type 1 or any diabetic or even a normal person, anxiety affects your body. If we are normal too, of course, we like, um, alright. It's like being a type 2, anxiety, of course, does give a bit of spike in your sugars. But even if not having diabetes, anxiety affects the body in normal way also, I guess. If any of you would like to add something.
I think stress is a factor, but ideally you need to understand the difference between a T1 and a T2. Now, T1s I can speak about. I'll let Shoeb talk about T2s. But for T1s, it is an autoimmune disorder. You need to understand that your body is not producing insulin. And insulin is a very important hormone to completely regulate a lot of functions, your day to day activities, your daily life. It is as important as your heart beating. Insulin works the same way. You need it irrespective every day. There was a comment I think from someone about trying alternate medication, things like that. Now, when you talk about a lifestyle disorder, a change in, when you're diagnosed with T2 where your body's producing maybe less insulin, age is a factor, your eating habits are a factor. Maybe that's when homeopathy and these kind of external factors might play a role. A healthier diet, a better diet, but me as a T1 also eating a healthier diet will help maintain my sugar. But at the end of the day, my body is not producing any insulin. So I need to understand that irrespective of what other therapies, courses of treatment I'm trying, my insulin is my most important priority. You see, because when I was younger and not as experienced, I tried to avoid taking insulin, thinking that, I don't need it anymore. I'm just going to eat Karela every day and this is going to solve it. In spite of doing this, I went into diabetes ketoacidosis, and that is the worst place a type 1 can be. That is when your body is trying to produce insulin for itself and it ends up poisoning your entire body. Now, alternate medicine, while helpful, while these things, stick to the basics, stick to the routine, eating healthy, taking your medication on time, and exercising. These three main things for me personally make a very big difference. And that's how you can actually keep yourself healthier, fit, and fine. From a T1 perspective, Hiral, if you want to add anything, otherwise, Shoaib, you can tell us about T2 and what exactly it is and what it consists of.
Hiral, would you
I
like to
would
say something?
like I would only like to add that mental health and physical health both goes hand in hand, I guess. And that statement is for everyone. So yeah, I guess sure you can go ahead.
I personally feel, I remember my time when I was abroad. My lifestyle was not really bad. Food habits also was really not really bad. But yes, the stress level, payment collection, stress level, I think that played a very important role for me to get diabetes. I personally feel. Since then, I've tried to understand how diabetes plays an a role in my life. And for me, in order to maintain that, what I've done is I've tried to balance things, taking less of stress. Because what I realized is after taking so much of stress, then having diabetes, then doing medicines, eventually getting attacks, and a lot of things are happening over a period of time. And now, in today's time, I've seen a lot of people getting strokes, attacks. So, what I have practiced and what I have done to myself is I've given time for myself for a good diet, a good lifestyle, a good workout regime, and time for myself so that I can not only physically but also mentally manage my diabetes. So this is what I'm trying to do, and Alhamdulillah, I've managed this very well. So I think a balance of both have really helped me out in managing my diabetes very well into type 2 ones. So that's about it.
Yeah, and also someone commented about asking the connection between insulin sensitivity or weight loss and how taking insulin can slow it. Well, in my case, hasn't been a hazard to lose weight because there was no need for me to do so, and also in 6 years there's nothing been any situation where I have to find a connection between weight loss and insulin. So I guess Gilmerio Villa can uh, talk about it. Like you can just say, tell us something about it.
Yeah, so basically, in my opinion, I mean, I agree with, I think it was Manda's comment, right? I feel that insulin does play that kind of role, uncontrolled for the amount of insulin that you're taking. But see, it's like a vicious cycle. The more I'm going to eat, the more insulin I'm going to need, the more of that is going to get converted into fat. The less I eat, but my sugar is going to go down, then I need to worry about making sure that it's not too low. So I need to make sure that I balance it right and don't overdo it with the insulin. It's basically on any given day. I was actually watching this Instagram post the other day. As diabetics, we are making conscious decisions and choices, over 160, 180 choices every day from the time we wake up, take the medicines that we need, make sure that we eat healthy, make sure that we're cleaning the sites where we're taking our insulin, make sure that we are uh, careful about what we are going to do today. If I have a meeting, something that relates to stress, I need to know that my sugars are going to go up, they're going to be a little affected. I need to make sure I eat enough. But high sugar means I'm taking a dose. Again, that sugar is going to then the insulin is going to peak after 2 hours. Again, my sugar is going to start coming down. And then I'm at a meeting trying to do something and my sugar is going down. And then I need to keep everybody aware of what's happening, that I need a moment. My best advice to this entire scenario is you are responsible for yourself. You need to take care of your life. You need to manage it yourself. And nobody else, any advice that they give you, can be on your behalf. It needs to be tried and tested. You try it, smaller quantities, smaller amounts, smaller way to one step at a time. They say like each step, it's like a stepping stone to a bigger path. Do that for yourself. You will understand how your body, how your health functions the best. Now, something else that someone pointed out is the kind of stress that comes up with work, with things like that, what I was talking about. You need to be happy with yourself at the end of the day. Stop expecting someone else to make you happy. That's just a dependency to some extent. You need to be self content. And if it is a job, if it is not making you happy, only giving you stress, leading to poor sugar control, there are millions of jobs out there, like there are millions of people out there. If you feel it's not a good fit for you, you can always try something else. But before you do that, speak up. A lot of places, diabetes is just considered like a lifestyle disorder. Nobody understands that it is something that governs our lives. We don't have any other choice. And you have just one life, guys. You need to focus on yourself. Stop trying to please your managers. Stop trying to please other people. Stop trying to please family members. It makes no difference. You take charge of your life. You be in control. And I guarantee you, you will be happy. When you see your sugar coming out at a great, perfect rate, when you see your HbA1cs under 7 coming to a normal person's HbA1c because of your control, your restrictions, your things to yourself, you will feel better. And that kind of satisfaction and happiness, honestly, I'm telling you, I've been diabetic for what, 28 years now. But I just realized this in the past 4 or 5 years. And honestly speaking, I'm content. And I am happy because I'm in charge of my fate. I am in charge of my life. So that's my advice on the entire stress bit on how you can manage it. That's for me. Shoaib, Hiral, you'd like to add anything?
Uh, well, not in this case, but talking about, I would like to talk about also losing weight, having diabetes. Like when you lose, I have been losing a lot of weight. Like I lost around 5, 6 kgs right now. And not only losing weight, but also gaining weight is difficult a bit. At least it's what I think. Because people suggest कि खाते रहो पूरा दिन खाते रहो, and I'm like, then I also need to take insulin the whole day, right? It's not only about
Correct.
keep eating and you'll gain weight. I need to eat right to gain muscle weight and not the fatty weight. So everything is affected. The only thing we need to keep in mind is we need to eat correct. Diabetic, non-diabetic, type 1, type 2 doesn't matter. What's important is we need to have the correct food. We need to have everything like proteins, fats, carbs, everything. पूरे दिन प्रोटीन पे भी नहीं चल सकते हम. So that's also a thing. Yeah.
Yeah, a balanced diet is very important. I mean, you need to keep that in your mind. You can't just skip and avoid things. It's the same way. You're like, okay, I don't want to drink water anymore. I'm going to rehydrate with just oral salts, maybe, or something else. It doesn't work like that. Your body is built in this particular way, the same point that Hiral mentioned. It needs to be an equal balance. So your entire body is a combination of multiple processes working and happening together, hand in hand, at the right time, at the right place, at the right instant. And you need to respect that as well, just to highlight on her point. Something else that I'd like to go with is next part. What I want to talk about is peer support and how the community helps. The same thing that I asked for is when you need help, how you can ask for it. Uh, Emotionally, it's a bit taxing at times. You tend, as a diabetic, I felt it. So I'm talking from my experience, happened to feel really alone, happened to feel like I had to make these decisions by myself. I did not know if what I was making was right or wrong. Now, on this topic, what's your experience, Shoaib?
Uh, for me, I think after getting into Blue Circle Diabetes Foundation. Initially, I was like, what is this happening? I had no idea as to, it just happened that I joined the circle and I used to always wonder what is it, what is not. Then later on, slowly and steadily, I understood what type 1 diabetes is, type 2 diabetes is. I started meeting people with different concerns about type 1, type 2, people sharing about their experiences, and that's how I learned that diabetes is way beyond my imagination. But thankfully, sometimes what we do is diabetes is always considered as a taboo. We don't talk about it. We might talk about work, we might talk about love, friendship, everything, but we might not talk about something which is very important and integral part of being a diabetic person.
Correct.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but when you meet each other, we might talk about our businesses, our work, girlfriends, everyone, but we will never talk about diabetes. And I think this circle has given that platform to actually talk about things we are into. Basically, this is a shit we are into, and we need to understand how to manage it.
Correct.
Because uh, I do not know what to do today. I do not know what to do tomorrow. But talking to people, I get that confidence to ask people that what should I do tomorrow. So I can plan myself. I can understand what it is. What are the foods which are important? What are the things which are important? What I should do? See, ideally, for me, when I talk about think about diabetes is only that I go to a doctor. Doctor will do preliminary test, quarterly test, this thing. He will just ask me a few questions, and absolutely right. He will definitely do the precautionary test, and he will give me medicines. But understanding why these are happening, a lot of integrities which are involved in it, I have to be equally responsible. And this group has really helped me to understand that, because there might be certain thing about a knee problem which I'm facing. And when I talk to someone, and actually that person also has a knee problem. So there are certain problems that has come up, which, earlier my memory was extremely good. But now, at the age of 44, I tend to forget things very easily. And when I talk about this to a person who is already a type 1, type 2 diabetes, he also shares the same problem. So that in that I understand that it is not just me, but others also are facing similar concerns.
Correct.
So this helps us to at least have a bridge between both of us to understand what can be done next. And it also keeps me happy that, oh, okay, this is what can happen and what might happen. So these are the experiences what I have been facing for a couple of years, and I'm very happy that I'm learning new things. And when I talk to people, and when I refer Blue Circle to anyone, I know that I will definitely refer something which is good to someone. So that makes me really happy about it. So I think that is all about it.
So it's simple. I think maybe what Shoaib is also trying to say is, it's simple, right? You can have all your degrees in your life. Before you're hired for a job, personal experience and on hands experience always trumps a ridiculous amount of degrees. Being there, being part of that experience, it what gives you more knowledge about what you're going through. And that is something that I feel that, so Blue Circle Diabetes Foundation, it's not just a foundation. To me, it's like a family. Everyone I meet and I interact with, I'm talking to my family members, telling them and explaining to them that this is happening to me. And someone suddenly remembers and says, you know what? I went through the same thing. This happened to me. I went to so and so doctor in this place, and this person really helped me. This is what was wrong with me. That opens up our minds to understand and be like, oh, that's why it's happening. Something as simple as forgetting, like Shoaib mentioned. But it does happen to us. How it happens to us, we are not, I'm personally not completely clear, honestly, why it does. But I tend to forget too, when I realize that the last 8, 10 years ago, my memory was spot on. And now I tend to forget certain things. Now it could be genetical, it could be something that happened, but it also could be because of poor sugar control earlier. It has affected something in my overall system. And that is something that Blue Circle Diabetes Foundation does help encourage. It's a lot of camaraderie that happens between us, and we appreciate each other's help. And any advice, however insignificant you might feel at a time, for something that you can share, please make sure, if you are part of our groups, if you're not, please join and share your experiences. Tell us what's happening, tell us what you're feeling. We're more than happy to be part of your life, to try and understand what you're going through. We might not have the right answers, but we will do our best to try and understand what it is.
Also, sometimes when we are trying to understand, we tend to find out what is the solution. And instead of just building up things in our mind, keep thinking about it alone, we can share with someone who has been experiencing our same routine, like insulin and sugars and everything. They also have the same changed environment, and they are also managing their diabetes in their normal life. So once we share things with them, they tend to help us to try and find a solution. First of all, it's like a big support that even if you have a family members, They aren't able to understand us as good as our people do, like type 1s or type 2s do. We usually tend to whine कि I got my sugar low, and then my family wasn't able to understand why it was low, and they were tense, they were right. But still, we need some whine for type 1s also, right? कि the reports aren't right, but it wasn't my fault. See, I took the insulin. No matter I ate an extra piece of cake, that yeah, so it's having BCD or a group which understands you is very important, I guess.
Indeed, it is, Hira. Indeed, very much. So there's something else also that we're doing. We have some advocacy work currently. So on the whole, as you are aware, diabetes is not very. A person suffering from diabetes is usually excluded from certain activities, certain things. And what BCDF is trying to do at this point is make sure that there are inclusive policies for diabetic care, for diabetic education, because the only way we can progress is that we need to understand, know, and be part of this entire equation. So currently what they are doing is they are actually with community members from our community and Mumbai and Pune, who have been presenting our diabetes manifesto to various politicians in Maharashtra. Now we are starting here, and we are hoping that just like Maharashtra, we can pass it on to other states, Karnataka, maybe move it on to other states as well, Kerala. Try and get this built in, because different states have these kind of facilities based on what it is. But what we want is that the moment we say that we are diabetic, we get to be more included into certain things. That care is taken, these things are taken care of and kept in their minds. Because like you mentioned, if there was a time when your sugar was going low and your family was not aware of it per se, or might not know how to react to it, just get you to rest. Something similar happened to me when my sugar was high. My entire body felt like it was burning up. I felt like every single inch of every hair follicle on my body just, I had an overdrive of emotions. And at that time, I was unaware what was happening. This is just during my DK episode. But now I do understand. If I know something like that is happening, I do know that I have to take a higher dose of insulin. My insulin is probably not getting absorbed into my body, right? Maybe I use a pump, so my infusion site is actually affected. I need to change that. I can use a syringe as an alternate method of insulin delivery, and it does make a big difference, many very big difference. So these are things that I have learned being part of the community. And Rohan had actually helped me about this, because earlier I would always take a break and think that okay, अभी थोड़ा हाई है, स्पाइक हुआ है, आ जाएगा नीचे थोड़ी टाइम के बाद. But what I noticed Rohan doing is he knew कि ये खाने से spike तो होने वाला ही है. So while he has a pump connected, he used to take an external bolus with an injection to make sure that it stays within range. Now, personally, your pump, just to explain how a pump works, it gives you small micro doses over a period of time. And if you're taking a bolus, like the baseless continues, a bolus is a bigger dose. But the rate at which it's giving the insulin is very, very slow. In such cases, if you take a syringe, give yourself that shot, your sugar is at perfect control. And this is something I'm really grateful to Rohan for, because he explained, not just explained, he showed me, he did it in front of me, and I was surprised. And I'm really grateful to him for that bit of advice and the knowledge that could be achieved. I also remember there was someone who was looking forward to getting a tattoo. Now, by default, everyone is like, oh, you're a diabetic. You can't have tattoos. You can't do this. I was told this when I was trying to get one myself. But I went through that entire experience. I have over 25 tattoos maybe on my body now. I actually lost count, to be honest. But I know that during this time, I need to be a little extra careful with how much insulin I'm taking, what foods I'm eating, how much time it takes to heal. It is a little slower, irrespective of what people say. It is a little slower. But as long as you understand what is happening. See, there is no knowledge that is not power. That is my belief. The moment you understand what is happening, you are in charge, you are in control, and nothing is impossible for you. You can do it. And that is my personal experience from these things. Hiral, Shoeb, anything to add?
Like, not to
Uh,
add in
I,
this,
I yeah, yeah. Please go ahead, Hiral.
going to talk about other topics. I guess you should go first and add on your word.
The reason I think Gilmerio had mentioned about understanding yourself. Uh, you be a type 1 diabetic or a type 2 diabetic. First and foremost, you have to understand what is happening because see, this is your body. You have to understand what you like, what you dislike. You can't stop everything or you can't start eating everything. Okay, you
Right.
have to understand uh, what are the things which your body can accept and what you can't. Then you also have a circle of people who are already walking the same lane as you are. So you can take their, we have a lot of sessions happening in Mumbai, Pune, organized by Blue Circle, and it's basically it's a very coffee session. But the points which people talk about, sometimes the oldie people, as in not the old people, the more experienced people, when they start, the newcomers, they feel comfortable and they ask a lot of questions, and sometimes the question also joins each other, and it eventually is the same thing which is happening to both of all. So
Correct.
you learn a lot from these circles, and you understand that, there is this thing possibility also, there is this thing also is possible, and you can have this particular, for example, when I have something which is not good for me, I start, my diabetes falls up and it increases also. And now I realize that these are the things which I need to avoid. So this happens over a period of time, and when you talk to different people, you get comfortable because diabetes is not a taboo. Just you might be an MBA, you might be an MBBS in something, but it is very important because you have a life, and that life needs to be understood because this is a part of you. Diabetes has already been a part of you, and you have to understand now has to be what precautions or what measures has to be taken in order to live that diabetic way, because you might live for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, how you going to be living. So that has to be understood, and when you talk to various number of people who are already sailing that same boat, it makes your life much more easier. So that is the reason why I am here, is to share my experience about diabetes. And I am not, I I do not know everything about diabetes, but the little things which I know about diabetes, I would want to share with people. What concerns I have about it, I share with during the coffee meets up, and that has really helped me also to understand other people's concern also. So
Indeed.
that's about the condition right now. So here you can add up something you would like to add.
Not to add in this, but there was a comment about how to stop a child from eating sweets. Like, it's kind of emotional for the mothers and the family. Ki, oh, achanak se, we can't stop a kid from having the lovely candy they always wanted. So, I guess portion control or uh, like parting food into various parts, like you can manage the carb, you can have one less roti, or you can have a bit of less rice and a bit of sweet instead. So I guess the part which we can handle is not saying no directly to the kid, but explaining them, like we can have a small bite of this dessert, and then we can have other food. so we have space in our tummy for all the other foods, and not just, we don't just eat sugar, right? Not only for type 1 kids but also for normal kids. I guess it should be followed for everyone, because portion control is a very important thing, as per my perspective personally. If anyone asks me that, would you rather take more insulin or would you stop eating sweet, I'll say that I'll portion control everything. I'll eat sweet, and at the same time I'll try to manage ki I have carbs as well as I have some fiber in other things. I guess you too can add up to it, as how a type 1 has a perspective for it, especially Shohib. So yeah.
No, I think something to
Uh,
add there is for children, it is really difficult to control. Their hormones are all over the place. They are growing up. They will understand. Personally, I have grown up as a T1D child, and I've had my share of eating sweets, eating chocolates, not telling my parents about it, still doing it. But that emotional maturity, the sooner it comes in, it's basically EQ, you see. And the moment it comes in, your kid will automatically understand that I want to live. In order for me to be healthy, I need to eat just this much of it. Maybe one chocolate. Instead of the kid is asking for one, maybe give them half. Maybe give them quarter, like Hiral said. It's very simple. It's a barter system. Just use it. My parents did it for everything. I was forced to study using this barter system so I could get great toys at the end. It was like first लेके आया ना तो you will get this, no problem, done. And I was like, dude, of course.
Every
Who
Indian
doesn't want
parents
to?
uses this.
Yeah,
Every Indian parent does that.
exactly. And it worked. You see, it put me in a position where I'm like, everything has a price, everything has a value. And that helped me realize the value of my own life, the value of me wanting to do something better for myself. I knew that it came at a price. Now, for example, Hiral is studying for MBBS. She's studying for those exams. It comes at a price. She cannot be out spending time on other things, maybe not as much at this point, because she has a goal. She's focused her mind on it. So, my take there for the children basically is it will come in slowly, but my perspective is if there is a barter system involved, I feel it might be easier, kind of bribe your children to kind of get them to a place where you can get them to listen and understand what is actually needed, in my perspective, of course. Shoaib, you'd like to add anything there?
uh, ये जो स्कैम का वर्ड जो है ना हम अभी सुनते हैं, लेकिन वी वर एक्चुअली स्कैम्ड couple of years back as a child.
Correct, agreed.
डीप बिलो नाउ आई रियलाइज हमारे को इतने एक्सचेंज हाउ बाटर सिस्टम, मेरे को लगता है ये
Correct.
हर घर घर की कहानी थी, जहाँ हमको चॉकलेट के बिगर पढ़ाई, पढ़ाई के बिगर खेलना, खेलना ये सब मैनेज होता था, या फिर खेलो या फिर पढ़ो या फिर खेलो या फिर खाओ. सो ये सब चीज जो है ना, जब आप बोलना चालू किए ना, तो देन आई रियलाइज, आई टुक माई सेल्फ 20-30 years back and I realized that these are the things which happened in every household. For me, देखो हम भी बचपन में काफी चॉकलेट खाते थे, स्वीट्स खाते थे, घर पे नहीं बताते थे. ये सब चीज हर जगह होती है, सिर्फ आपके घर में नहीं, सिर्फ मेरे घर पे नहीं, वर्ल्ड वाइड सब जगह होती है. तो बच्चे भी जो है ना खाते हैं. आप अभी अगर उनको घर पे खाने दो या रोको, लेकिन आपके पीछे वो क्या करते हैं वो आपको नहीं मालूम है. सो इट इज हाई टाइम फॉर यू
And it is
एज
not your
अ
fault,
पेरेंट.
just to
या
add.
इट इज
It's
नॉट योर
not your
फॉल्ट.
fault.
इट
Correct.
इज इम्पोर्टेंट एज अ पेरेंट. यू हैव टू teach them values about sugar control,
Yeah.
because आप तो नहीं रहोगे जब वो स्कूल जाता है, आप तो नहीं रहोगे जब वो शाम को खेलने जाता है, क्या पता वो बाहर से चुपके चुपके खा ले. So rather than that, in order to get him hold, you have to teach him values about why it is necessary for him or her to control his sugar, because at the end of the day, what he's doing is not for the parent, but for himself and for his future. So if he doesn't take care of having a small sweet or maybe a bigger sweet, that will also gain him or maybe it will hurt him in a longer run. So अगर वो समझ उसके दिमाग में आप बिठाओ, क्या बंदा देख ये खाएगा, ये होगा। क्या होता है ना, हम जब कोई भी चीज, अभी फॉर एग्जाम्पल आई हैव अ 10 ईयर किड, मैं उनको सीधा, मैं मेरे लड़के को सिर्फ बताता हूँ अगर तू ये चीज खाएगा ना तो ये मसला होगा, ये नहीं खाएगा तो ये होगा। जैसे हम भाजी बचपन में कैसा खिलाते थे, सोयाबीन कैसा खिलाते थे चिकन बोल के, वैसे बच्चों को काफी समझ है, बच्चों को भी काफी समझ है। दे अंडरस्टैंड इमोशन, दे अंडरस्टैंड पेरेंट्स। और उनको अगर यही चीज की समझ तुम इनकलकेट करोगे थोड़ा थोड़ा थोड़ा, बिकॉज इट इज एन हैमरिंग थिंग, आज
Correct.
थोड़ा बोलोगे कल थोड़ा बोलोगे, लेकिन आप रोक दोगे तो इट विल बी वेरी डिफिकल्ट फॉर हिम टू अंडरस्टैंड। बट आप थोड़ा थोड़ा करके आप करोगे ना तो ही विल इवेंचुअली अंडरस्टैंड, एंड आज है या नहीं, कल है या नहीं, ही विल हैव हिज कंट्रोल बाय हिमसेल्फ। सो दैट आई फील उसको वो शुद्ध बुद्धि जो बोलते हैं ना, शुद्ध बुद्धि इन अ शॉर्टर टर्म, वो समझ अगर बच्चे में आ जाएगा ना तो सामने से ही वो अपने आप को कंट्रोल करेगा।
Indeed. Basically, treat your child as an individual, not as your responsibility. Indeed, they are your responsibility, but talk to them as an individual. Not that if you do this, I'm going to beat you up. If you do this, you're not. You have to have that level of respect, mutual respect. And as a child, as an adult now, if I was given that kind of upbringing, which I taught myself later, of course, it does make a very big difference. You learn to love and respect your parents even more as you grow up for the things they taught you, for the way that they explained to you that this is right, this is wrong. You can do both. But the impact of your decisions that it's going to have on your own life, that is what they need to understand. That is what they need to believe it to be the truth, because in reality it is the truth. Whatever they did today, let's say they're eating a lot of chocolates, doing all of these things, they always have a risk of developing severe complications, being diabetic. You have retinopathy that kicks in, you have your kidneys getting affected that kick in, you have high blood pressure as a problem that kicks in, you have your heart getting strained as it kicks in. So these are certain things that do get affected. Of course, बच्चे को जाके तो ये नहीं बोल सकते कि oh, if you eat this you're going to die. It just sounds wrong. But in reality it is going to put a detrimental effect on their health. And try talking to them at that level, not in a harsh tone or an angry tone, but just take a step back, think that you are the same child as they are, and talk to them as your friend, as their friend would talk to them, and let them make the decision for themselves. I guarantee you they will choose the right path. They will choose what's right for them.
I agree to Gilmerio.
So it's completely in your hands, technically.
Absolutely.
Something else I'd like to add is advice. I think we were talking about advice since we're on this topic, but what kind of advice would you like to give to someone who's newly diagnosed as a T1 or a T2? So maybe Hiral, you can start with the kind of advice that you would like to share.
Advising to a newly diagnosed type 1, I remember myself being diagnosed and being like, what's insulin? I am not someone who is going to prick myself or inject myself for whole of my life. I'll rather choose to die. And that was my exact statement, that insulin lene se acha hai choose to die. So when you are newly diagnosed, few question which comes in our mind is, why me? Why not someone else?
Correct.
I haven't ate so much sugar to get diabetes, because that's what we also know in the start, right? That diabetes is something that happens when you eat a lot of sugar.
Sugar.
And a
Yeah.
12-year, 10-year-old child being said that you're a diabetic, and they think, what? All of sugar I've had in these 10 or 12 years. which elders in my family haven't had. So my suggestion would be that it's not due to sugar, first of all. Accept it, whatever it is, whatever comes in life, either diabetes or anything else, just accept it. And yeah, happily or sadly, we need to deal with it. So why not do it happily? Why not try to find a few positive points about it, and rather try to understand it instead of making it difficult for ourselves. Shoaib, if you want to add something.
Uh, for me, I think if I had to recommend, see now we are in 2024, we are living in a time which is technologically driven. We have everything on our fingers. You talk about anything, Google करो, YouTube पे तुमको मिल जाएगा. बात समझ रहे? अ, एक इंफॉर्मेशन मांगो, हजार इंफॉर्मेशन मिल जाएगा. एक आदमी मांगो, हजार मिल जाएगा. Now it is very important for newbies who have recently diagnosed. आप बात करो लोगों से. सबसे important, talk to people who are already sailed in this boat. फॉर एग्जाम्पल अभी हम जब यहाँ इस ग्रुप में पर्टिकुलर ग्रुप में है, सो हमारी जो जो भी कंसर्न्स है, पहले तो हमको एक एक्सेप्टेंस जो रहता है ना, वो बहुत जरूरी है कि भाई हाँ डायबिटीज हो गया है, अभी हमें यही जिंदगी जीना है. तो यू हैव टू एक्सेप्ट इट एंड देन यू हैव टू रियलाइज दैट यही ऐसे ही जीना है. यू हैव टू एक्सेप्ट थिंग्स दैट अभी क्या करना है, आगे आगे क्या करना है, उस हिसाब से आप लोगों से सवाल पूछो. लोगों को क्या कंसर्न है. देर आर अ लॉट ऑफ पीपल हु आर टाइप 1 डायबिटीज, टाइप 2 डायबिटीज. I'll cut it short. What I mean is, ask people. कोई भी आपको कुछ आप पूछोगे तो आपको ऐसा नहीं होगा कि जवाब नहीं देंगे. आपको हर चीज का जवाब मिलेगा. देर आर लॉट ऑफ पीपल, देर आर thousands of people on the group who will who have already faced this particular thing, and they will be more than happy to answer you. So I feel is, ask a lot of questions and understand what is diabetes, and then the next thing is understand what are the things which are acceptable for you. Acceptable food, non-acceptable food, एक्सेप्टेबल मेडिसिन. डॉक्टर सी ऐसा नहीं है कि मैं ये नहीं बोलता हूँ कि आप डॉक्टर्स के पास मत जाओ. सी डॉक्टर का जो डॉक्टर और पेशेंट का जो ये है वो तो चलता रहेगा, बट यू बाय योर सेल्फ, इट इज इम्पोर्टेंट फॉर यू टू अंडरस्टैंड व्हाई डायबिटीज आपको आप बिकॉज डॉक्टर आपका टेस्ट कर सकते हैं, लेकिन आपका बॉडी क्या है ऑन अ डेली बेसिस वो आप खुद जानते हो. So you have to
Indeed.
understand, yeah, you have to understand your body, what is आप पे आपको क्या सूट होता है, क्या नहीं सूट होता है, and ask people. So this is the way you will really be able to manage diabetes in a very, very, very good way. So that is
Indeed.
my opinion about it.
Thanks, Shoaib. Thank you very much for all of your
Welcome.
advice, for your views. Thank you. A very big thank you to Hiral as well. I think she's losing connectivity, but a big thank you for her, all of her opinions and thoughts as well. And a very big thank you to the entire audience, for everyone who joined us, took the time. Remember, we have do these workshops every Sunday, and we're available. You can have the recordings that we have here as well. You can always go back, get information on topics that you're trying to search for what you need. We have upcoming events that are usually organized and posted. Please feel free to join our local groups on social media across the board for everything that we have, and we're always here to help. So feel free to ping us either personally, on chat, on Facebook, join our groups, and a big thank you to Blue Circle Diabetes Foundation as well. So thank you, everyone. Have a nice day.
Thank you,
And
Gilmerio. Thank you, Blue Circle. And thank you, Hiral. I think she's not here with us. And
yeah,
thank you, audience, for being very patient. Because, 5 minutes, your patient loses. There are a lot of people who have been here for past an hour. So, a big thanks to everyone. Uh, you get an opportunity, please do come and join in at Blue Circle and share your experiences. Maybe your experiences will be very beneficial for people around. And once again, thank you all. That's about it. Signing off from my side, Gilmerio.
Yep. Have a wonderful day, guys. Bye bye.
Okay, enjoy yourself.